Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, I guess Michael's a bit backed up or something. So he was going to talk about the music token economy, and I guess I can do that as well. Hopefully, it's not too loud out here.
No, it's all good. All right, give it up. This is the inaugural music token forum. Give it up one time for Joe Rotondi. Let's go.
Woo! That's awesome. Thank you. Um, well, hey guys, Anthony, Tino, Mike, Nikita, Leroy. Um, yeah, so I guess we're kicking off the music token forum for the inaugural one. Next time we have this in 6 months, it'll be hundreds of people on here, and then 6 months after that, it'll be thousands of people. So consider yourself lucky that we're all here. So we're I think it's been a while since maybe we've gone through how unit relates to music token and how the whole thing fits together. So maybe I'll do some run through on that, and kind of elucidate an understanding of why we're doing this in the first place, what the music token economy and having a music token to be all about, how it'll fit together, and then we'll have musicians and people in the business be able to kind of get deeper into that. So I'm Joe Rotondi. I'm on the unit core team. I guess I'm a co-founder, and the cool thing I grew up in the U.S. and I used to work at some think tanks before. I'm a lawyer by background, and also worked in public policy and various things. So I got super excited about the benefits of a free market, free society, free human rights, individual rights. And I worked in Congress before, in the U.S. Congress, and worked in some think tanks, and ran for office. And I just really think that blockchain is the peer-to-peerization of things is really the way forward. I'm here in Bali. I got here to Bali about in 2015. And at that time, Uber was pretty new, and it came from the sky, just like, wow, all these local taxi people didn't know what hit them. It was like peer-to-peer, like, okay, I have a car, you need a ride, which is an app that lets us get together. We can bypass the local sort of stranglehold of the taxi mafia here in town. Of course, all over the world, New York City didn't give out a single taxi medallion since 1959, even though the population got a lot bigger. And so why is that? Because the people that already had the licenses to hand out didn't want any more supply. So they got control of the group, that the organization government that gives them out, and just sort of created a false scarcity. So that peer-to-peer thing here really was a third of the price. The local taxi mafia, there's a third of the price. That for 6 months, they didn't know why their business had gone down. It's because we had found each other in a place that didn't require a government or force to by fiat have that market be there. So crypto and blockchain, some of you, I think the people on this call, I'll assume you don't know too much about it, but blockchain is sort of like the massive increase in that peer-to-peerization. So it allows us to have a stake in ourselves, a stake in something that's digital, but also like not held in a centralized server by Amazon or Facebook or Apple or Google or something like that. So Bitcoin, of course, was the first use case of that, or case study, and it's a huge success, of course. And so now we have a bunch of other big ecosystems. We've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, Binance, or BNB, Solana, Polygon. There's a bunch of them. So unit and how music fits into that, fits into the token economy. Unit has 5 levels of tokens. So those first like eight or nine I just named, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. Those are kind of like the first level tokens, level 1. And those can kind of, we could never have created unit 10 years ago because there was no digital store of value we could use. Like gold used to back the US dollar, and the dollar, would back all these other currencies through the mid to late 20th century. until the world went off the gold standard. So now it's just the currencies trading against each other. Well, the digital gold, the gold of the digital era, is these big ecosystems, and the network effects around those. So Bitcoin people call that digital gold, but Ethereum kind of acts in a similar way, even though it has a different ecosystem. So that first level, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, et cetera, those can be invested in the level 2 token, which is the unit token. And unit, unlike all other sort of token economies out there, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, it introduces a series of tools that allows anyone to create their own token, including a music token, which I'm teasing here, but I'll get to the reason for that. It allows anyone to create their own token in like 5 seconds, and it comes with a bunch of tools, each token. So the list of tools includes, importantly, a bank and a treasury. No other crypto project out there has a transparent bank and treasury where you can invest other tokens in it and see what's in there in the treasury. So the bank allows a person the operator of the token, let's say Noah has his own token and Mike has his own token. Like they create it and okay, 100,000 Mike tokens, or Nikita has 100,000 Mike token, or has 100,000 Nikita tokens. So you can create that. And if any of us wanted to buy each other's token, we would buy it, but we wouldn't buy it with dollars, or we'd buy it with Bitcoin or one of these level 1 assets. So let's just use Noah. So Noah got 100,000 Noah tokens, and Nikita wants to buy 10,000 of them, 10% of them. So she stakes $10,000, just for simple numbers. He's selling them for $1 a piece. $10,000 of Bitcoin buys 10% of Noah's 100,000 Noah tokens. Now that goes in his bank. The bank is accessible. This is all decentralized in the blockchain. It's accessible to Noah, and he can use that for working capital to build up his studio, or whatever he wants to do. But he also has the power to put it, instead of spending it, to put it in the treasury. And the treasury is the other key driver, I think, of the unit token economy, is that the treasury allows for not Noah to operate or to access it as the operator, but all the token holders to access it. So Noah can access 90% of it. He can take out $9,000 of that Bitcoin, and Nikita can take out $10,000 if there's only 2 owners. So what's cool about that is now you've got a floor value. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything, if no one wants Bitcoin tomorrow, I don't think that would be the case, but if no one wants Bitcoin tomorrow, it'll fall to 0. There's nothing backing it. It's essentially just like a commodity unto itself. Like if no one wants gold tomorrow, it'll fall to 0. If no one wants oil tomorrow, it'll fall to 0. There's nothing behind it. Whereas Apple stock, or like a Google or something like that, if no one wants Google stock, they still have a bunch of assets. So if you own Google stock and they just, suddenly demand drops for the stock, well, at least you can get together with 51% of the share owners and liquidate the company and take the assets. So that's your it's a book value. You get your portion of the book value as an equity owner of the company. Well, there's $10,000 of Bitcoin in the Noah treasury. That's 10,000 out of the 100,000 tokens. That's 10 cents per token of Bitcoin. So 10 cents per token. If no one wants Noah token, it'll fall not to 0, it'll fall to 10 cents. So now you provide a floor value, kind of like a book value of a company, for any token that you can create on unit network. So that's sort of like, that's the first level of value for any token, is that treasury value. And then what it trades at, like Apple stock, we were talking about Apple, it trades much above the assets on its balance sheet, so it's got some kind of trading value. Won't go too deep into how that works on unit, but there's a trading value that should be much higher than what's in the treasury. And then the highest level of value that creates a community is people that own this token, this valuable token. It's kind of like a stake in that token community. Also can be spent. So maybe Noah's selling his album or selling merchandise or something, and and it's trading for $1,000. Each token's trading for $1,000 a piece, equivalent. Then he might offer his merchandise at like $900 per token average, So that'll induce people who own the token to buy his stuff. So really kind of picture a world where in a few years, you will never go to a place where and be a customer where you also aren't an owner already. Like usually you go to a barbershop or a restaurant right now, you don't own the place, you're a customer. And maybe you write a shitty review or a good review on Yelp or whatever, but you're still looking at it like a customer and telling other people whether or not they should go. If you own it, then you have, now you're looking around the restaurant. Hey, I think that painting's a little off. You're like thinking of it like the owner would think of it. And the owner wants you to own the token because he wants more people, he or she wants more people looking out for the interests of that thing. Okay. So we got level 1, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, etc. Level 2 is unit. Level 3, we at unit looked at the whole world of value and said, okay, what are the biggest like categories of value out there? And they go, okay, there's industries and cities. That's what we came up with. So we have city. So for unit, we have these level 1 tokens. We're raising $25 million of those tokens to back the unit token. And then we're raising $150 million each for 50 different industry tokens and 50 different city tokens. So on the city side, it would be like Bali token, where I am, New York token, Shanghai token, London token. So we picture there'll probably be like thousands or tens of thousands of city tokens out there eventually. But we're starting with 50 of them, the biggest ones, more or less, the biggest economies, and raising $150 million each to back those tokens. There's no spending of the money. It just goes into to back the token economy. As all the world's value from the analog world, from the traditional world goes digital, the unit platform will allow for all that value to be sequestered in treasuries and really backing from the bottom up a totally global digital tokenized world. So, and then on the industry side, we've got music token, we've got fitness token, movie token, you name it, builder token, founder token, I guess founders in industry, people that founded businesses. So like we're raising $150 million each for all of those too, including the music token. So the music token is it's going to be a really cool one because, of course, things like we're doing here with the music in the music token economy, we have a series of initiatives, conferences. This is the first one, of course. Yeah, so it's a good start here. We have a few people here. We're going to get bigger and bigger with more people presenting that are in the music industry and sharing their ideas. It's kind of like people getting together playing poker with your buddies every month or every whatever, every 6 months, hopefully every month if you're a poker. But for a music conference, you get together every 6 months and talk about what you're seeing in the industry. People maybe like collaborating, sharing each other's tokens, or, sharing in each other's success, future success, sharing intelligence and ideas and networking. So it's super cool as a booster for the music token economy. So once that value's in the music token economy, the money that's in there, like if you created a Facebook group, a music Facebook group, when there was traditionally just like before blockchain. I mean, if you're in high school and you create a group with your buddies, maybe they'll join because you're your friends. But like if you globally, like if you're not very known, like how are you gonna build a brand or an Instagram group or something? Well, but if you got Snoop Dogg in there, right? Or if you got like, you get a bunch of bands or just one in there. Now he's valuable. He's got a brand, and people are like, oh, Snoop's in the group. I want to join in there. So am I talking too long here? No. Okay, I got a couple minutes. So basically, it's really cool because the level 1 token is what's in there's those big ones. Level 2 is the unit. Level 3 is the industries and cities. The music is going to be a big one of the conferences. We'll have unit ventures for the music token economy. Basically like helping some of them get off the ground as early ventures and then batched ventures. And then we'll have the unit masters program, music masters program. We'll have people, big names in the space giving a talk once or a couple of times a week. And then the U, so CVMUN, it stands for caveman. That's caveman. But the U is university, so we'll have the sort of the Wikipedia of the music token economy. And then news is the last one. So the unit news would be news of the music token economy. So that's super cool. And as we build that network around that token, it's essentially a center of gravity. It's like a music nation, usually we have these nations all based on geography. I mean, if you're born in this place, suddenly that you're born in that country. Well, that country may or may not agree with the governing laws of that thing. You can't sell out and move. I mean, you can move, but many people around the world have very difficult mobility. They can't move. So being in a group of people that share in a passion around music and then have a stake in it. It's like a person could buy music token, and now you have all these tokens that like all of us will probably have our own tokens, and maybe you'll accept. You can decide which industry token and which city token you accept into your treasury. So if you have a music related enterprise you're doing, or your personal token, and you accept music token into the treasury, now it's like anyone who owns music token also owns a stake in all the music tokenized things around the world. It's like an ETF of music, which is super cool. So, and then the fourth level and fifth level tokens are those agency and project tokens. So an agency may be like a music label or something, like having all their people on their label tokenized. They're either their brands, their albums, individual songs themselves, their guitar merchant, whatever. I mean, whatever they're doing. It's super bottom up. It just like it flows, and now so as we begin to grow the raising of money for the unit token and then the industry tokens, I think it's going to be a really, really big catalyst for people to want to join our movement and be part of what we're doing. It's to this point we've been kind of talking about it, and it's cool. Some people get excited, and then of course, like it's like this I forgot what it's called, the hope, the technology adoption. So where people get super excited about something, and there's like a valley of despair, and then when it really happens, people come on. So I think it's really good that we're starting out with the talks that we have here, and I think Noah's been doing a good job. You got a cool background there too, of putting this together. So I appreciate that, and I don't want to eat up too much time. If you guys have any questions, or just want to start a conversation, put in the chat or unmute yourself and say what you want to say.
Yeah, man. Thank you for sharing some of the expertise and everything. I think so. Let me ask you this: in terms of, like, let's say the music token or these different industry tokens, like, I guess, because I mean, I've also been paying attention to like the crypto markets. A lot of things are, so it's kind of on the rise right now. Like, what do you think some of the obstacles are in terms of, like, you mentioned there's of course, people get excited in the beginning, then it kind of dips, and then when everybody starts adopting, everybody wants to jump on. What are some of the obstacles that you think, more so in terms of these creative industries, and like, let's say specifically to the music token, what are some of the obstacles that you foresee in terms of the music industry?
Yeah, well, I think that as far as tokenizing, or the people, we need education, we need case studies, and we haven't been able to do that to this point. We kind of have some like people, the NFTs is kind of a huge rage right now, but kind of think about an NFT. I mean, you could maybe program them to kind of like have a royalty stream, come to somebody, but that, I don't think that's where the major promise. I mean, there's a role for NFTs, but I think that you can just see how excited people are getting about them now, and kind of how things will kind of people can really ramp up their excitement around an economy. But I think that it's education, and just ownership. Ownership, I think, is the key. It's okay. If you have something of value, it's not just called music, but it has like money, and it's like Snoop Dogg example, like having money in a treasury is a form of value too. Money's value, brand is value. It's not the obvious one, it shouldn't be, but it has been to this point. Instagram account or something like, oh, you got Jennifer Aniston joined Instagram, and one day she had 28 million followers. Well, I mean, if you want to build your brand from nothing, it's like trying to bridge that gap between I'm already, I'm quite famous, or I have a brand, and I'm starting an account. Like that on Instagram or Facebook or something, or Twitter, you had to like kind of get people's attention. It was the attention economy. Yeah. Well, if you can just start it from nothing, and now you have like you want people to own a stake in you, because you want them to be looking out for shows for you, or looking out for opportunities for you to play, or whatever you're doing. So I think that the obstacle, the core obstacle, it's not an obstacle. The core thing that we can unlock is shared ownership. And I think that it will just take a couple of people to show that that worked, and then everyone will go like, whoa, wow, just like the NFTs, there's just spread.
Yeah.
'Cause whoever heard of an NFT until about a year ago, and some people making money with, with digital art or digital music from it, now everyone jumps on. So I think that it just takes, that's the key thing, is having a few successful case studies, and the platform is there for it to work. And people seeing that it worked, and that'll cause it to roll like fire, like wildfire.
Okay. So, all right. So now, all right. I know you said it's not, of course, things need to be unlocked, and it's, so in terms of on, like, I know you're on the, let's say the unit side, the unit core team. What is like, kind of like, the estimated timeline of, let's say these tokens to start get going, these case studies, etc.
Yep. So I think that we are opening up the platform. It's possible to create your own token now, but you can't do too much with it. I think all the functionality, like the core functionality, like, the ability to create the token, to sell the token, and then people deposit Bitcoin or unit or whatever, to stake it in an exchange pool, and then exchange it and have that exchanging functionality there. I think all those things in this couple of weeks, and we're raising money for the unit token at the same time, and the music token will be a little bit further down the line. I think it's maybe early next year.
Okay.
Depending on how fast. I mean, I think that the unit token will get quite a lot of capital fairly quickly, but it's just my guess. I think that will happen.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to the industries and cities, and music is one of the first batch, I think, of our attempted pushes for the industry tokens to raise capital for. So, and then of course the capital's there now. Like I said, people want to. It's like bees to honey. People want to come and earn it.
Yeah.
Even if you're in Somalia or some, you know, access to. Sorry for interrupting. No access to the gatekeepers, traditional gatekeepers in places like New York or whatever. So yeah, it's really flattening out the world and democratizing access to opportunities and community as well. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So for the unit token, the unit token is basically the, let's say, I guess all the other tokens fall under the, like the music token, the city tokens, the industry tokens, those would fall under the unit token umbrella, correct?
They are, yeah. I mean, they're in so there's the website where you create tokens. It's called unit.network. So yeah, they're not in the unit token. They can be invested in each other. So they kind of like, they kind of link together that way. Like for example, if I have some music token and or Leroy or Sebastian or something creates like a token for their album or whatever, like a studio, and they can say, okay, I accept, like I live in Berlin, so I accept Berlin token, and I'm in the music industry, so I accept music token. So if I own music token, I can invest in music token in Sebastian's treasury, and now it's in there, and as that grows in value, so does the value of the floor value of the Sebastian token, and as that grows, it's like any other financial asset, like a stock or a bond, and like the income that goes in there, you can see like how much income there's grown in the last 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years. Okay, wow, the earnings growing at like doubling every year. Wow, okay, so I'll pay a lot for that token now, because I can on the expectation there's going to be more more value flowing in there. Yeah, so it's super cool.
So for the unit token, I know it's on unit.network. Will the unit token, or will they be also on other, I guess, I don't know, you call them as like trading sites? Is it whether, I don't know, I know there's like Binance or of course, Coinbase is the most known. Like, will the unit token also be available there? And then will it also be able to be held in wallets, etc.?
Great question. Yeah, so there's centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges.
Okay.
And Unit has a decentralized exchange built into it. There's this super loud in the background. Sorry.
It's okay.
But see a question from Anthony. Okay, so yeah, so a centralized exchange is Binance, Coinbase, right? And they're
Yeah.
called order book exchanges, where it's just like a matching of people. So
Yeah.
if you have music and I have, unit, but this doesn't exist on the central
Yeah,
exchanges.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but they would, okay, they just match us together and make a trade, and they take a little piece of it, like 0.5% or
Yeah.
0.2%, something like that. Decentralized exchanges. The first one I think was Bancor, but the one that popularized it was called Uniswap. And
Okay.
without getting too deep in the details, people were trying to create that order book thing, but have it on like a decentralized, like a swap meet kind of. You come together and there's no one in between, but you can just trade with each other. And that never really took off because not enough people came to the market, and if there's not enough people there, this person wants to pay this person wants to sell it for this person wants to sell for that, wants to pay this, and the spread was too wide, and so the network effect never took off until Uniswap created this liquidity pool where you just put a pair of them, and you put unit and music, well, in our case, it's USDU, which is the dollar, and music, or USDU and anything else, into a pool, and you put the pairing in there. So now if I wanted to buy music, I bring my USDU to the pool, and I trade with this smart contract, the pool. That's on Unit Network. So I'd be able to buy music token, but I pay a 2% fee, and that 2% is pretty high. It's not 0.1%, but that 2% fee is there for a reason. It's split 4 ways. 0.5% goes into the unit token treasury, so that builds the income of the core token of the network. 0.5% goes in the music token treasury, so that builds the music token floor value. 0.5% goes to the person that referred me to the network, so it's a business model, an agency business model. And the fourth one goes into the pool to incentivize people to provide that liquidity, because the trading fees get paid to them for providing liquidity. So yeah, so any token you create on Unit, it has that decentralized exchange built in. It's USDU and NOAA, for example, and NOAA token. But it costs some money, and probably wants a little bit of some adoption first before Binance wants to list, or Coinbase wants to list your token.
Yeah.
And since we're kind of imagining a world with 20 million, 200 million tokens, they're not going to list all of them certainly right away. Even the unit token won't be right away, but hopefully that will be trading on the centralized exchanges as well fairly soon. But yeah, we haven't even gone live yet. So, but
I guess there are plans for that, like in the future. That's basically, I guess, a direction that it's heading in.
Sure. I mean, if you
want to go to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you get big enough, which I'm not sure what the threshold for big enough is, but when you get big enough, the exchanges want to profit from, making a market in your token. As well.
Okay.
And as an aside, sorry, but yeah. So as an aside, if you have like, you can. I think that in maybe 7 to 10 years, if you look at like CoinMarketCap or the listing of the top tokens, it won't be like Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB. It won't be like layer 1 stuff. It would be, number 1 might be Shanghai, and number 7 might be music, and number 15 might be, movie token or something. So it's just basically like real world stuff, but now it's like decentralized and valuable and organized by the actual value that it holds in the world. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting roadmap.
Okay. All right. And then we have a question from Anthony. He says, being that you mentioned the industry music token can serve in the treasury of other projects as well, is there a specific amount of funding required first for the music token for this to happen to ensure liquidity?
Good question, Anthony. So no, the funding that goes in the treasury is different from the investability of the music token. So even if there's nothing in the music token treasury, you could invest Unit in Noah's token. But how much is the music token worth? We don't have any treasury value, so it's really just speculative value at that point, which is kind of what almost all the tokens are out there these days. So that's why we want to seed the token treasury with $150 million, the number is kind of arbitrary, but that's what we're doing. So $150 million is 100 million music tokens, so that's $1.50 a piece once that's funded. So that would be the floor value, and then the trading value is whatever the market determines, based on how fast the music token is growing with those trading fees and with the number of tokens that are that are accepting music token in their treasuries, basically like sucking up the supply of music token into the various projects, pushing up the price as well. But no, I mean, like the liquidity of, there's 100 million music tokens, like that's what there are. So there's no liquidity problem. It's just a value problem, not a problem, a value thing that we're adding by having a treasury and backing it and increasing the income that flows into it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you so much, for sharing. I mean, even for me, even though I'm hosting, I'm learning as well too. So it's great.
Yeah, cool. And I think it'll become really clear. It's an old rule of thumb, I guess. You got to say something 42 times before people get it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you just show it once, they can see it. Okay, there.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It's all sort of talking about it before it's there, and so I think it'll be abundantly clear quite soon. People pay attention to things that are valuable and are opportunities for them. So that I think we're ahead of the curve there. It'll be cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. So any other questions from anybody? You can type it, or you can turn your mic on.
No questions. Very good, Joe. Thanks for the overview.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, it says Michael. I'm confused. Being legal online.
Yeah. Give it up once again.
Hey. All right. Thank you. I'm gonna go plug in my computer, go in the quiet zone because it's almost out of power here. So thanks, guys.